G'day. This week it's all about leaving the US and arriving in Canada. Now, I had a rather surreal experience. Just as I got to the border of the Canadian border, so there's only one guy there, and I'd got all my things organised, and I just passed him my passport, which is obvious what I'd have to do. He didn't have much to say. We had tats all over him, and he looked like he'd just broken out of San Quentin. Anywho, nothing against tats. But there he was, and he was giving me a bit of a hard time, nothing too severe. And then he said, off you go. And I said, nothing else you want to know? He said, no, go on. So that was interesting. And once I've actually arrived in Canada, had some experiences with the RV, some maintenance issues and some technical issues and some problems. One of them was a flat tyre, but that's the bad news. The good news is I had a flat tyre in the middle of the car park. So I wasn't in anyone's road, and I could get on with it. And just like I'll do now, I'll get on with it. So let's go. Off I go on my little trip to Blackiston Falls, and which is a kilometre from here. And you never know, just might see some bears. BTW, it is so cold. I've stumbled on a horse path that crossed the walking track, so I decided to take that because, well, less chance of the bears being disturbed. I'm so desperate to get this shot for you. In and around the forest you can see the devastation that those bushfires did. They're basically pine sticks, they're no longer pine trees. But this classic guy next to me, he is a result of nature picking up the seeds and growing them again. And apparently it takes around about 50 years for this to grow up to be equivalent to what they were before. But it's well on its way, and even smells a bit like a pine tree. Christmas. You can keep living, we won't dig you up and take you home for Christmas. I'm just giving the RV a bit of a tub in preparation for selling it. So it's getting that stage where I'll need to head back to Australia soon. And that's a great thing about a good quality machine that you buy, or good quality RV or car or whatever, is if it's easy to make it all look nice and pretty again just after you've used it. In other words, you've been on a dirt road, or if you've been out travelling for 5 months like I have, all it takes is a bit of a wash. And seriously, I've done half of this, so I just have to finish off this last half and all done. Just got to do the wheels now and we're all done. Yes, what you heard in fact was right, 3.5 hours. That's what, 180, 210 minutes. Now I'm pretty sure this is the right tool, which is excellent. Lucky to have found that in the trunk or the boot. It slips into there. I've given it a pretty decent douse of WD-40, and as you can see, it's starting to come down, which is absolutely fantastic. Here we go for another roll of the dice. Fortunately, I went into a very knowledgeable spare parts guy in Volkswagen here in Okoso, whatever it's called, and he said this, according to the VIN number, it should be these. It should be 301 millimeters diameter. He said there's a small possibility that somewhere along the line they may have actually been 313. So he said go and check, and that's why I've got the wheel off. I've checked the diameter, according to me, I'm not a very that sort of person, it's 313. So I'll put the wheel back on, I'll go back and order them, go and take it to the guy to have them fixed, and hopefully when he pulls them apart says, oh, these are the right rotors. Wish me luck. And also hopefully I won't get run over. I've come to a tourist spot just out of Okotoks. Now this is quite an amazing rock. I want you to remember these three dates: 500 million years ago, 50 million years ago, and 30,000 years ago. Now these three important dates. This rock started off as basically sediment and pebbles, and that happened 500 million years ago. And as the sediment settled, it settled down further and further, and the weight of that sediment on the sand actually compressed it into a very, very hard rock. And as it made that very, very tough rock, that sort of got on with it. Then 50 million years ago, as this particular type of rock was pushed up and the Rocky Mountains were formed, so it was pushed up thousands of meters high, that's where it all started, as a big rock, and it came to the surface. And then 30,000 years ago in the Ice Age, what happened was a glacier picked up this rock and transported it down from Jasper. And as it came down, it melted more and more and more and more, and then just dumped it here. So the Okotoks are very proud of this very special rock. And the First Nation people used to use it, probably still do, as a sacred site. So here it sits out in the middle of a paddock or a field or a prairie, one of those three words. And yeah, it's quite interesting. Have a quick walk around it. Well, there you have it, another week in the four-wheel drive adventure. This week, I might not have mentioned, but I did initially get a quote for getting the brakes done. In fact, I was at the place to get it done, and they took about 5.5 hours only to come back and said, oh, we've ordered the wrong part, so you'll have to come back tomorrow. And that was going to be about $1,200. I decided not to go back with that to that place, and then having that guy from Facebook Marketplace do it, that was a bonus. Now, if you're wondering why I was down washing the RV by a little creek, it's because water is so precious in America and Canada. It's not just a matter of going over and grabbing a tap and turning it on. There's no taps anywhere. I know, it sounds a bit too hard to believe. Anywho, and how lucky was I getting a flat tyre in the middle of a car park where I didn't have to move it. All I had to do was try and get those jolly wheel nuts off, which through the assistance of some other guy in an RV who came over and gave me a hand, that's how I managed to get the wheel off rather, and get the nuts undone. So it was quite an event for the RV. Now next week I'm taking you to Banff, and I can tell you that is absolutely fantastic. One of the best places I've been to in Canada. Haven't been to many places in Canada. Now if you found the video useful, helpful and or entertaining, please give it a thumbs up. And if you think the video is worth sharing, I'd really appreciate it. So until next time, this is Paul Wheel Drive, signing off.